Hey guys, it is currently Pride Month as of the time of recording this, and also America is going through the gayest divorce they've ever seen. Uh, and every Pride Month, I always hear people complain that there's not a straight Pride or that there's not a straight family Pride Month or something of that nature. And now I personally didn't know that straight people were being oppressed, but my channel's all about uh representation, and the best way to fight oppression is representation. So I figured let's let's give the people what they want and let's have some great representation today. Now I think the best way to give representation is through someone who is both a father and a husband. So today we are taking a look at the TCAP episode featuring Clifford, the the big white pedophile. So let's get started.
Hey, Bill, get your mic turned on. Can't hear you.
It was Sunday afternoon, and we had one more man who was going to show up. And he was coming over to meet a 14-year-old boy. And I believe we had a description of his car. So we see it pull up, and it's an SUV.
He's in the driveway, Dell, but I can't hear you coming back at me. He's backing out now. He's backing out of the driveway.
Why is Frag getting so irritated with Dell? What's going on? First of all, what's that about? A red SUV, yeah, a very family car, I guess. Um, yeah.
He's backing out of the driveway. Yeah, looks like he's going to park on the street. Can you hear me, Dell?
He gets out and goes to the rear passenger side, and we think maybe he's going to get beer, pizza, stuff that we see these guys bring all the time. Instead, he grabs the hand of his 5-year-old son and leads him out of the car and up the driveway.
The 5-year-old son and the non-existent pizza. Clifford, 42, fotophix. I don't know a lot about this guy, so I'm not sure if that has anything to do with possibly his job or something like that. Uh, I guess we'll find out.
I hear Frag say,
Oh, no. He brought his son with him. He's got his child with him.
apparently, the mother
Okay, that has to be Frag's like best line. Oh no, he brought his son with him. He brought his son with him. He's got his child with him. That's like something that I quote like all the time because that's just so fucking funny. Um, I don't know why my internet is so slow
of the
today.
child, his wife, was working that day. He was in charge of the child and figured he'd just bring him along. And there was a collective gasp that you could hear in the house.
He's going up to the front door and he has his child with him.
Go around to the back. This door doesn't open.
He's one of these guys who had a very short online chat, but then on the phone is graphic about what he wants to do. And
Okay, that's kind of a weird concept that, well, number one, the door didn't open. Yeah, whatever. But number two, that's kind of a weird concept that they would have the door like not work or like maybe not have cameras set up in the front door and set in the back door. Uh, that's it's really strange. But it's also strange that like the decoy, either the phone decoy or the decoy in his chat log wouldn't have mentioned that. That's yeah, like why? I don't know. It's also a little weird that he went into the front door. Like, I mean, if he's trying to be secretive about it, having a kid with him and everything, I don't know. This is very weird.
he has this conversation with Dell, who's posing as the 14-year-old boy.
making the turn, coming in the back door, coming through, walking into the living room, holler out.
And so I'm thinking, all right, how do I handle this? And so he comes in, he's got the kid by the hand, and I walk out, and he's startled. I got to tell you something, and I'm going to tell you just straight up right now. I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC. Okay. We're doing a story on adults beating children, and since you have your child here, I'm not going to pursue this. Okay. But I think you know what you were doing here, don't you?
No, I was just coming to take some lunch.
Take a boy out to lunch you met on the internet.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
My point is, because your child is here, I think it'd be best if
Oh, okay, so his plan with the decoy was to take him out to lunch. So that would have been another one of like the more kidnapping ones. And I would say probably not, considering he has his. I don't know what the fuck the plan was here. That's very strange. Maybe it was just an excuse, but it doesn't really make sense. Then again, what's his name was going to take the kid
you
to
just
like a
went ahead and
birthday
left.
Yeah,
party?
I agree. I never did this.
And of course, Frag is talking to the police saying, this has got to be a different sort of arrest.
Rob, we're going to send this guy.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck is going on with the internet today. I apologize.
We're not going to interview him because he got his kid.
Sir, right there. You come here.
You come here.
Let go of the child.
As gently as the female officer scooped him up, he still had to see his father get arrested.
Please give me my son, please. Can we please have my son, please?
Did somebody get the car seat out of his vehicle?
You got to remember that these guys who work with me on these investigations have done other.
That is such a fucking shitty thing. Please give me my son, please. And then, like, well, and I'll get that in a minute, probably once the video ends. But yeah, especially if you know the aftermath of what happens with Clifford, like that is such a fucking infuriating line.
Investigations with me in some of the darkest parts of the world and expose some of the most tragic things you can see happen to kids and people. And they were just blown away. I mean, some of these guys were in tears.
You gotta put your seatbelt on, all right, buddy?
Put your seatbelt on, buddy. You got to go for a 2-minute ride, okay?
Give me time.
Based upon his interview with police, the chat log, and everything else, it doesn't seem like he was going to involve the child in any sex act. It seemed like he was going to set the kid up in a.
I will say I am glad that Chris clarified that, because that was like probably not just for me, but I'm the only one I can speak for. That was like a major concern whenever the first time I watched this. That was like a major concern, like, oh shit, like what was the plan and everything, and what maybe had happened. Because obviously, like, if that was the plan, then it's probably not the first time something like that had happened with that kid, unfortunately. But hopefully not. Hopefully Chris is right. I mean, obviously that kid's gonna have a rough childhood, but still.
And go do whatever he was going to do with this, 14-year-old in another location of the house. During his interview with police, he suggested that it was the lack of intimacy in his marriage that drove him to do this. There was a state investigation to see if the boy in any way had been abused. Pending that, relatives have told us that at first the boy was living with the mother. Then the boy went to go live with other relatives because the mother took the father back in.
Yeah.
And that was the situation.
Fotophix.
Yeah, how fucking shitty is that? And then this is just the rest of the video is just Chris Hansen and the Predators I've Caught podcast talking about Clifford. But how fucking shitty is that though? Not only did the mom like stay with Clifford over having the kid, they ended up having another kid, and obviously like Clifford cannot be around children, so that kid also had to go with like family members or up for adoption or wherever the fuck it is. Um, I just hope that the family isn't anything like Clifford, and I just hope the best for the kid, honestly. Um, but yeah, that's my video. Let me know if there's any predators that you would like me to commentate over. Hopefully my internet works a little bit better next time for some. I don't know what the hell's going on with it. Uh, so yeah.